So just looking back at the offense from the last game, just what did you think of how things went last week?
I thought we made some improvement. We had fewer mistakes, but still didn't have quite enough, enough production. And I told the guys, when you fall short in a game, then you've got to find one of two formulas, and I think we're kind of somewhere in the middle right now. Teams often can handle a few mistakes if there are enough big plays to overcome those mistakes. An untimely penalty, it's a drive killer, or a turnover, obviously. Something that probably goes maybe a little less noticed would be maybe a pressure on a pass protection when you have somebody open and the quarterback had to avoid the rush and threw it, but didn't quite get it there. And maybe nobody really noticed the rush that was an impact on the game. And so we've cut down on some of those mistakes. And so if you're not going to have enough big plays, you got to drastically reduce those so that you can stay ahead of the chains and methodically move the ball. However, most teams, especially in college, don't win that way. They win with having enough explosives to overcome the mistakes when they happen. I felt like we were closer to that this past week. We had a few more of the positives in our favor, and like I said earlier, a few less costly mistakes, but still not quite enough in the positive category.
In the passing game, what do you think are some of the things that are maybe limiting the explosive plays from happening?
I think one of either, like I mentioned protection a minute ago. There are times when the protection isn't as good as it could be, and that's the case for every college team. But I mention it because I do think it's something that goes unnoticed a little bit. And JD masks a lot of those problems because there are a lot of times where he makes up for deficiencies by being able to scramble and make a play with his feet. And then I think just, the receivers and JD getting on the same page. We just need more synchronicity between those two positions. And I think we're still possibly seeing a little bit of the ramifications of him not being with this crew all off season and being able to throw and catch and still making up for lost time a little bit.
You mentioned a pressure at a key moment. It seemed like the offensive line just didn't protect Jalen as well as they had in previous games. Just what do you think was different?
I don't know if that's true. We had a similar last play of a game when we were in a 2-minute drill where we got strip sacked, and so I think it's a hard moment to protect when everyone in the stadium knows that you're going to throw the football and you're going to throw it down the field, so the pass rushers have a little bit more time to get home. So I don't know if it's a lot different than how it has been. I think it's probably more more of the same and not being as good as we need to be in that critical moment.
On that 3rd and 4, the penultimate drive, was there a
Which one?
The 3rd and 4 where you guys ran outside zone on the second to last drive. Was there a miscommunication up front with the linemen and who they were supposed to block at all?
No.
Okay.
Jeff, with regard to what you want to run offensively and obviously have installed, how do you feel about the tempo? Is it where you want it? Do you want to go faster?
This is not a tempo offense, and prior to me getting here, it hasn't been, and that's not the way that they've chosen to go. And if you want to play that style of game, then it takes away a lot of the other stuff. Mm-hmm. It's hard to. So I guess the easiest way to say it is if you watch football on Saturdays and you watch it on Sundays, often you see two different styles, and the ones on Saturdays you don't see nearly as much college teams changing of personnel, shifts, motions, multiple types of presentations, play presentation. Whereas in the NFL, you do see a whole lot more of that, and that's more our style. And are there times where we could benefit from more tempo? Sure. There are times that we could benefit from maybe a little bit better, a lot of things.
How did you spend the rain delay or lightning?
I'm sorry?
How did you spend the lightning delay?
Some with the players, some with other coaches, just looking at, we have the tablets now, which gives us the information that, we never had before, being able to actually see the defense. And so, just watching that and then talking with our players about adjustments and how we can do things a little better.
When you guys debriefed about the way the coaching setup worked with you in the box and Coach Z on the field, how did Jalen like having Coach Z on the field?
I haven't asked him that. Yeah, I think he was comfortable with it. But I think it was a positive move for us.
And what, I think you talked a little bit last week, but like for you when you're up in the booth, does much change for you when it comes to running the offense?
You can see it better for sure, and so you have a better feel for what's actually happening when you're not in the booth and you're relying on information that's coming from other people, which has been good. There hasn't been a problem with that, but it is different when you can actually see it yourself.
Jeff, with Sonny Dyke said he expects you to run the ball more than normal. What do you see from them on defense? Do you expect to see something different on defense?
Well, I would assume he's saying that just based on what's happened with them of late. Teams, UCF is a team that runs the football, period. SMU probably a little bit more balanced, but chose to run it a bunch. And, they've started out decent in games, and then at some point lost the momentum and lost their ability to stop the run, and got on top of them a little bit. But I'm sure they're good coaches. I know some guys on that staff, they're good coaches, and I'm sure they're looking to make corrections just like we are on things, and they may come out and play a different style and do everything they can to attempt to stop the run with numbers, and if so, then we'll have choices to make.
And then he also said something I thought was interesting. He said, you guys run the ball more on third and medium than anybody he's seen. Do numbers back that up?
I haven't compared our stats this year to the rest of the country to see where it is, but that's always been something that I've wanted to do, is run the ball and be balanced on third down. Third and long is a time, medium or long, traditionally, where everybody assumes it's going to be pass, and not only pass, but drop back pass. And so you're putting your offensive lineman in the worst possible position if that's all you're doing. Obviously, when you have a yard line to make, you'd like to be able to get that with a throw, but sometimes when the defense is defending the pass, that's the best time to run the football. So I've really attempted to stay unpredictable in those situations, and one of the goals at times, even when it's third and long, in our for sure in the first game, and I can't remember a couple others, but we've had times where we've run it even on third and long, and then put yourself in position where you can go for it on fourth down if the run doesn't actually get the first down. And so there are a number of things at play. One of them is the analytics and how much do I have to get in order to go for it on fourth, and all those things come into play. But they do have some talented rushers, and they've got a unique third down pass rush package. So it'll be interesting to see how they play that. But yeah, I'd like to think that we maintain balance in that situation and sort of put the game back where it should be. When everyone knows you're going to throw it, then you're playing to the defense's hands, and it's hard. And it's a situation where all the worst things in the world can happen. Some good things can happen, but strip sacks and fumbles and interceptions and quarterback hits and all that stuff aren't only things that hurt your drive, but they're momentum changers. And so sometimes it just helps you avoid some of those things.
The end around touchdown to Luke Grimm, could you have drawn it up any better? You had linemen
No, those guys did a great
sitting
job.
there waiting.
Yeah, they did a great job blocking it. Yeah, a play that we've had success with this year, and guys have done a good job with it.
I don't think we've asked you much about the way you call games to start. Are you someone that likes to script out a drive? Is it a set number of plays? How do you kind of approach the starts of games?
Yeah, we've got a list of openers, that usually, if you have an average length drive, that'll usually take you through your first couple of drives. That's how it's played out, the games that we played in so far.
What did you think of Shane's play as a guard and just the process of making him?
Yeah, I thought he did a good job. I did. I thought he stepped in and played like a guy who's played football before. The moment wasn't too big for him, and was a guy who stepped in the moment when we needed it.
Lance yesterday said that he feels Jalen took another step forward in the right direction on Saturday. Do you agree with that assessment, and what do you think overall of his play?
That would be foolish of me to answer that question anyway, but yes, I agree with that assessment. But I do. You'll never know, but I do. No, I mean, I think I think I felt like he played a little bit, I don't know, a little bit more free, just a little bit more loose, and we had the one interception. We wish we could have that one back, and I know he wishes he could have that throw back. But again, there was pressure on that play, and not an excuse to throw it to the other team, but there are more factors involved than just what he does on any particular play. But yeah, I thought he did as well.
Anything else for Coach Grams?
Okay, good to see y'all.
Thanks, appreciate